So, did you watch the Oscars last week? I did. I also, beforehand, was working on reading all the books. No, watching all the movies that were nominated for Best Picture. I don't know why I didn't think to do a list recommending books based on Best Picture nominees. Why didn't I do that? It seems like an obvious thing to do, right? So I've written a list, and yes, it's true. One of them I did not see. You can guess right now which of the Best Picture nominations I did not see, because I think it's pretty obvious, but who knows? Maybe it's not. Sorry for the change in picture. I will say I understand that a lot of these, I think about 5 of these, maybe 5 of these, something like that, are actually based off books. Yes, they're based off books. And so, of course, you can go read the actual book, but here are suggestions that aren't the actual book. Okay, we're going to go in order of the movies, and I'll tell you what I thought of each movie, too. Let me sit in the middle so I can put them up. The first one's going to be American Fiction. Oh my God. It is a commentary on race and the current world, races and being Black, how we talk about like the history, how we stereotype people. It's really funny, smart and funny at the same time. But at the same time, it's tragic trauma and loss and family and grief. And I thought a good one to put for this that I have read is Unlikely Animals by Annie Hartnett. And that one also covers trauma, loss, grief, but it is funny, and it's like just a weird family dynamics and a strange narrative that is not structured like the typical narrative. I know American Fiction's an actual book, which I'm pretty interested in reading. I just found out it was an actual book, so I'm like, this was like my second favorite movie of this list, so hello. I want to say that if you have any ideas of books that are like these movies, comment it below. Let me know what you think. For American Fiction as well, we're going to do Fun Home, a family tragicomic by Alison Bechdel. Like, maybe not funny, maybe more introspective into the workings of the family. Deals with sexuality in an interesting way because it is obviously a comic instead of just a fiction narrative, this isn't a fiction in general, based on Alison Bechdel's actual life. I think it's pretty interesting reading it in comic form, kind of in the sense that American Fiction is told in this kind of like meta way that's like not quite your normal narrative. Anyways, next one is Anatomy of a Fall. This one takes place in Germany. This woman is at home and she has just gotten interviewed. Her son, who is blind, has left on a walk with his dog. Her husband is blaring PIMP, and whoop-de-whoop, her husband is found outside by the son, dead on the ground in front of the house. It's like snowing out, and it looks like he has been pushed or fallen out of the attic window, and it's kind of a court case sort of situation. I would definitely recommend a show for this as well. This is going to be the show I would recommend for this movie would be The Staircase. If you enjoy the way that the court scenes happen and how they dissect everything, I think you might enjoy The Staircase, and that's on HBO. It's a miniseries with Colin Firth. The book that I wanted to recommend is Notes on an Execution by Danya Kukafka, and this one I wanted to recommend because you're looking through every aspect of someone's life. You are dissecting them as a person. That's what's happening in Anatomy of a Fall. It's not like the exact same story, obviously, but at the same time, you are seeing all these different aspects of this person's life. The book, Notes on an Execution, it follows 24 hours before this man is going to be executed. He is a serial killer of women, but we're also following women who have interacted with him or had some sort of relation with him within the past, whether it be his mother or someone that just like knew him in passing, and you're following him as well in the present day. And I'm very very good. Barbie was pretty difficult to figure out what I wanted to recommend for it, because I was like, I don't really think I've read a book like Barbie, and I loved Barbie. It's a lot of commentary on what it means to be a woman in like modern day and before, and like women's rights and women just in general as like a model, but at the same time we're not all the same, blah blah blah. Beautiful movie, like so good. It seems like it's going to be just silly or whatever, kitschy. It gets a hold of your emotions. So in this, I was like, let's talk about women's rights then, and we're going to bring up Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, obviously, and this is in a dystopian world where women are basically property, and it's disturbing, it's disgusting, it's a classic. We love it. It's very true to what it feels like we're going towards. And I think that's something that we need to be thinking about. As well as that, I want to say Red Clocks by Leni, I think it's Leni Zumas. I wrote this down in my notes app, but it corrected people's names and I don't think I noticed it until now. So it says Lena, but that's not the person's name. It follows a semi-close to our world dystopian future where abortions are illegal. Well, it's very close to our world. Anyways, so abortions are illegal, and so is like IVF, what the world looks like, being a woman in that world, and it follows multiple women. This was written a little bit ago, like maybe 8 years ago or so, and never knew it could be so close to the truth, and that is horrifying. Anyways, let's walk away from that, and we're going to go to The Holdovers. Oh my God, this is like set in the 70s, 80s, and it's about this kid who is left behind at his boarding school over Christmas break. The relationship he forms, a thoughtful, good relationship with this strict teacher and also with one of the people that works at the school cafeteria person. It's charming. I thought it was just going to be one of those like feel-good movies. Not at all. It is so much more than that. So I wanted to talk about Blankets by Craig Thompson. That's another graphic novel. This one is Craig Thompson's memoir focusing on his coming of age story. It is a tome. It's big, but at the same time, it's very interesting looking at growing up in the 80s, 90s, being a teenage boy, and it felt in the same vein as The Holdovers, and just like figuring out yourself, working out who you are and how you interact with like your family and stuff like that in the world. Then we have Killers of the Flower Moon. This one was very hard to pick something for. I have read the book Killers of the Flower Moon. It is great. Killers of the Flower Moon is about the Osage people. This is a Native American tribe who is in Oklahoma. And if you know the history of Oklahoma and the Native Americans, it's a lot. Bad. Anyways, it's about them and the land that they were given by the government, and the fact that this land turned out to be very oil rich. Then all of a sudden they're getting a lot of money. It is the white people and how they start treating. There is some murders going on. This is also the birth of like the FBI. How can we solve this if it's tribal land? Like, who has jurisdiction? Anyways, so I was like, maybe uplift some Native American voices. And so I wanted to recommend There by Tommy Orange. This is an interesting one that follows multiple people who are on their way to this powwow, it's called. It's like at this big stadium sort of thing, and a tragic event that is going to take place there. So it's all these different people and their journey to commune and get to know their heritage better. I enjoyed it. So then we have the one I didn't watch. That's Maestro. And Maestro is about Richard Bernstein. I think that's the name of it's like a Maestro. Anyways, that's all I know. So read this music book. It's A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. It was great. It has nothing to do with this movie and is probably nothing like it. And by probably, I mean definitely nothing like it. It is a short story collection. Well, not really. Well, composite novel. It has short stories that all kind of weave together into creating a narrative, and it's about the music industry, and I thought it was really good. Tell me if I should watch Maestro, though. Anywho, then we have Oppenheimer. This is the creating of the atomic bomb, but it's also about Strauss, who is a senator who is trying to get confirmed into a cabinet position in the United States government. It's not a trial, but they're like figuring out whether or not they're going to approve that, him going into that position. Wonderful. I've seen it twice. Mind-blowing movie. No pun intended. Oh my God, Rachel. No, it's a very good movie. It's very impactful. And if you enjoy history, if you enjoy science, you'll probably like it. Or just, I don't know, it's an interesting movie. So on that note, I want to recommend Dark Matter by Blake Crouch if you enjoy like science things. This is a fiction book, obviously, and this one is nothing like Oppenheimer, really, but if you enjoy reading sciencey things, this is more of a thriller. Makes sense to me. There's this guy, he wakes up kind of in a different timeline sort of thing, and he's really confused as to what's going on. He's a scientist, and it's a pretty wild. But I also want to recommend, my God, I have so many recommendations for this. I had to stop at a point. So Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu. Dang. And this is another one that if you just want to learn about science things, and this one has aliens, like if you enjoy science, like these are the things for you. But this one also has like politics, intrigue, conspiracy. It's they're making a Netflix show and I cannot wait. And then just in general, you should read Neil deGrasse Tyson because I enjoy his like physics books. I love some good astrophysics. Anywho, next up is Past Lives. So these two people in South Korea, they got to know each other as kids, and then she had to move to the States with her family, and she's like 10 years old or something. Years upon years later, they reconnect because she looks him up, and it turns out that he's like posted a Facebook page like looking for her, and so they end up reconnecting. They kind of get to this point where they're like really like each other, but then blah blah blah, things happen, and they both kind of go their own way. But then he comes to visit, and she is married, I believe, or engaged, married or engaged, and it's just, you know, the passing of souls, and it's really good. It's a touching story. I want to recommend The Town of Babylon by Alejandro Varela, and this one as well is going to be past loves coming back together. This one it's two men. They like recommune at this high school reunion. I was like, how do you say that? High school reunion? Like, what is that? They come back together and they kind of like get to know where each other are in their lives at this time. So it kind of has the same feeling to it in a way. Next up is Poor Things. This one was wild. I love this movie. Emma Stone is beautiful, wonderful. Love her hair, the costumes, everything was wonderful about this movie. So this is a weird one. Bella Baxter is kind of this creation that this mad scientist has. He's got character to him too. It's Willem Dafoe. We freaking love him. It's just about her interaction with the world and learning about things. She's almost like a Frankenstein sort of situation. So if we want another Frankenstein sort of situation, let's bring up Bunny by Mona Awad. This is Frankenstein meets the Heathers. It's this group of posh girls at this college master's program. This one regular girl who is in the same program as them, she is just like completely on the outside, and they're like all like Bunny, Bunny. They call each other Bunny. She's kind of brought in to join their clique, and it is much weirder than you think. Also, I wanted to say Leni by Max Porter is another good one. This is a strange narrative about strange people in this weird little town and their interactions with this like little boy named Leni. And I can't even explain this book very well. It is just the oddest thing, but I feel like it does give really good Poor Things vibes to it. The last one is The Zone of Interest. Honestly, so this one is about this family who the husband, the father husband, he is a commander, high-ranking officer at Auschwitz, and this is obviously World War II, the Holocaust. I couldn't possibly think of a narrative that would go with that. It was horrifying. The movie takes place next to, they're living in the house on outside of the walls of Auschwitz, and you are experiencing the sounds constantly and all these things. It was stark. It was disturbing. It was a lot of things. Impactful. I don't think it would make sense to just be like, here's a book you should read like this, unless it's like a history text on World War II and the Holocaust, which I don't have a ton of those to recommend. I don't typically read history books. I mean, I know a lot about it. I have watched countless documentaries, narratives, but I don't really have many books on the subject. Night by Eli Wiesel, Diary of Anne Frank, things like that I read when I was younger. I don't think I could just be like, here's this fun book to go along with the zone of interest. No. So that's the end of the list. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know if you have anything to recommend that is like one of these movies, that you enjoyed one of these movies or hated one of these movies. I didn't even tell you my opinions on most of them. If you want me to real quick rank them, we can do that. So it goes Oppenheimer, American Fiction, The Holdovers, Poor Things, Barbie, Anatomy of a Fall, The Zone of Interest, and then Past Lives, and Killers of the Flower Moon, and then lastly would be Maestro, because I never watched it. So that's my ranking of Oscar's Best Picture nominees. I knew Oppenheimer was going to win. It was obvious. We knew it from the beginning. Everyone knew it. It was just exactly what was going to happen every time. So thank you so much for being here with me. Be sure to like and subscribe. Give me a comment as well. I will see you later. Love you all. Bye.